Hello, everyone. Welcome, Sideline Brief Podcast. One episode 216. We want to recap the Super Bowl from yesterday. The Seahawks, NFL champions. Very, very dominant performance. So we'll recap that game. Plus, we got the NFL awards that was last week as well. So we'll recap who won MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, all that good stuff. And we might sprinkle in some other news stories from the weekend. So all that being said, guys, stay tuned. Let's hop right into the Super Bowl recap. Seahawks, Patriots rematch from a couple of years ago. Seahawks coming up on top this time around. Very dominant defensive performance. Kind of how we all kind of predicted, minus Jacob. He had the Pats winning the Super Bowl. But overall, I thought it was a okay game. Like, I'm not really hyping it up to be some great Super Bowl. Like, very defensive. Patriots getting beat the hell up. Drake May getting beat the hell up. Very, very brutal from the Pats fans' perspective. So, Jacob, what are your thoughts on Super Bowl, on the Seahawks' performance defensively and even offensively? They had some success too against the Pats.
Well. Looks like the Pats played a good team for the first time this season, or at least a fully healthy squad with a good team. I'm mostly referencing the Chargers without the tackles, Houston without Nico Collins, and most easy to remember the Broncos without Bo Nix. But I mean, I kind of thought that halfway through the game. I was like, man, like they finally have a legitimate test, and look how they're playing against them. I will say, I feel like the lights got too bright for Drake May. Great year, regular season merchant schedule. That's his new nickname for me, Drake May, the schedule. I think it's perfect until he can prove otherwise. He missed open throws. Yes, the O-line, Will Campbell and the other, the guy next to him, the other rookie, they got tore up. I mean, Seattle's defense was sending four, and they were getting to him damn near every play. I will say that Drake May had opportunities, and he missed some shots. Obviously, Sam Darnold missed some shots, too, when he was under pressure. We're not going to talk about that, though, because he won, and he's a Super Bowl champion. Drake May, however, missed a lot of throws, obviously took a beating. And I'm very interested to see if this will be another Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels type of situation where they had a crazy good year, a lot of luck, a lot of skill, a lot of potential, didn't reach the goal, but then how do they respond the next year? I think Vrabel's a better coach than Dan Quinn, even though I like DQ. Interested to see how the New England Patriots look next year with a first-place schedule. I know they play the AFC West, so Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers. Like there's some good teams. Buffalo twice on there, obviously. I think the New England Patriots are in for a lot harder of a year next year than this year. All the credit to Seattle. I didn't pick them because I didn't want to jinx them, but shout out to Sam Darnold. I'm so happy for him. Career redemption arc, and good thing the Patriots didn't win another one because I would have had a much worse day today and yesterday if that was the case.
Yeah, Lawrence, thoughts on the Super Bowl? Very dominant Seahawks defense right there, and Sam Darnold, doing just enough to get the offense going.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was probably one of the more boring Super Bowls, but I would say boring in a sense that it just kind of lacked, I would just say, a total package. There was no back and forth. It was just complete dominance on one side, but I was enjoying the dominance. I like to see the Patriots get stomped in like that. I think there was just this huge thing that I saw. Someone had put 142K on the Patriots plus 14.5, and to know that there were 13.5, sorry, and to know that guy did not hit, and it was minus 550 odds. To know that man did not hit, trying to be super safe on the Patriots, just makes my day even more. The next thing I have for the game, the fact that Jason Myers didn't win Super Bowl MVP when all the points pretty much on the board were through his leg. I mean, he kind of beat the Patriots by field goals alone.
Yep.
I get it. You can't give a Super Bowl win to a kicker, but I think that also does show how kind of boring
They have before, right?
the Super Bowl is. That one in particular, because it was just the kicker's leg. Honestly, it was just um, the leg of the day. Both the kicker and the punter for Seattle were just proving that they were leagues above the Patriots counterpart. Well, I guess that's not fair to say because Patriots kicker did not get a chance to kick very much, but the punter did, and the Seattle punter still outplayed him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good case to be made for Myers to get the Super Bowl MVP. Like you said, he beat the Patriots by himself. So just making those kicks was very, very key to the game. But I mean, the defense overall should. If we could give the MVP to overall unit, I would give it to the defense. Like they just dominated. Like Jacob said, they went against a team that's for the most part healthy. You got some guys were beat up. I think Eamon Wari, I think that's how you say his name. I know he was nicked up beginning of the week. I think hurt his ankle during practice, but still played. So I know some of these guys were beat up, but the fact that the Patriots had their first real test in the Super Bowl, I think it's a real testament to their strength of schedule. Like the easiest schedule in like the 40 and since like 40 years or something like that. I think that says a lot about their path to the Super Bowl and some of the circumstances that they just found themselves in going against teams who, weren't fully healthy or, just were just bad teams. And hey, they just play who was on the schedule. But at the same time, I think they just got a really, really big break this year. So, hats off to them for getting this far. But I think, like Jacob alluded to, like, will they have, like a year 2 regression like we've seen some of these other teams have? Jaden Daniels this year, even though a lot of that was health, right? CJ Stroud, he regressed his second year. Some of these other quarterbacks that had this second year of regression after their first 4 years starting. So we'll see if that happens with Drake May. I mean, he has a bright future. Hopefully that's not the case, but it's been the trend these past couple of years of these rookie quarterbacks or first year starting quarterbacks. They just have regression in year 2, and part of that's due to, the first place schedule that they had the following year. Another part of it is, you have a full year of tape on them. Another part of it might be, maybe these quarterbacks aren't developing enough to counter what the other teams are going to counter with the next season. So it's a lot at play here going forward with the Patriots.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't want to take away anything from Seattle. Obviously, Jason Myers had a fantastic game, but I think it's a little silly to say that he beat, the Patriots all by himself. I mean, Kenny Walker ran for 140 and had like
140,
one big catch on a third down. Sam Darnold threw for 200 and, didn't turn the ball over. So Seattle's offense was moving. I mean, I think the New England defense played, kind of that bend but don't break style of defense where, had their offense been able to make a couple plays, like they were in that game until probably the third quarter, just because they were limiting them to field goals. But Seattle's offense was able to move the ball, able to convert on third downs. I really think everybody kind of played their piece. It wasn't a perfect game offensively for Seattle. Defensively, you can make the argument like they played outstanding. But like you said earlier, like the special teams, the punter had a couple coffin kicks, like kicker banged all his opportunities. And I just think that was one of the better like team games in terms of every facet had to do what they had to do to win the game. Obviously the offense wished they could have got touchdowns, but they did enough to win the game. The defense played outstanding. Special teams closed it down. So all in all, I thought Seattle was it was weird. I was talking to someone earlier today. It's weird to say and it's weird to kind of think, but like Seattle was the best team in the NFL this year. And now they're the champions. So that's pretty awesome for them.
Yeah, very, very good story for the Seahawks. 60-1 odds at one point? I think that was preseason to win the Super Bowl. So that's insane. I think some of the longest odds in a while here. So shout out to them and shout out to Sam Darnold. One of my coworkers today said one of the greatest redemption stories the NFL has seen. Right, a guy that
ever, yeah.
I said this, a guy that was a bum on the Jets and goes to being a Super Bowl MVP, and now we gotta throw him in the top 10 of quarterbacks. Some people are making an argument for top 5. I don't know about all that, but definitive top 10 quarterback in NFL now, yeah, that is on his resume. I don't think you can take that away from him. don't know if you guys have thoughts on that.
I mean, I could see him in the realm of top 10. I mean, if you were to ask me, oh man, okay. Here's a line of guys who can restart your franchise with. Who do you want off the rip right now? I mean, I don't think I would be taking him too early. But he did enough to win the game. But that's all you really needed to ask of him. I do love the redemption arc. I mean, and it was like a full circle moment. Like, he gave up on the Jets' career that failed, the Panthers' career that didn't lead to anywhere. Then he went to San Francisco, sat on the bench, chilled out, and hung around. Leaves, goes to Minnesota, doesn't work. Goes to Seattle, wins the Super Bowl at the stadium in which he sat on the bench and I would say got the second chance going.
I think he's close. I kind of agree with Lawrence. I think he's close. I also think, like Lawrence said, you do it like a fantasy draft or you just do like your own list. I think right around 12, 13 is when his name's gonna pop up because once you get to obviously me and you, Lauren, or me and you, Markel, both agree that like our quarterbacks are in the top 5, and then you have
Yeah, for
Mahomes
sure.
and Lamar that kind of round it out. So like I don't think he's top 5. I think that's a little silly, but I also think you got to think about the Jared Goffs and the Daks and the staff. Like there's so many
Stafford's,
quality
yes.
quarterbacks right now that like that list is. And then think about Trevor Lawrence this year and Caleb Williams this year and Jaden Daniels last year and Drake May this like. That's a weird and tricky list. So I think he's, per opinion, probably in that like 12 to 14 slot. But also like that doesn't really matter because like we've seen in the last couple of years, I'm not a big Hurts guy. Luckily, I came into the podcast when we didn't have to talk about Philly football that much because I'm not big on Jalen Hurts, so I will not count him in this. But like going back to last year's Super Bowl, Hurts didn't have to do much. He had to hand the ball off, not turn the ball over, and rely on the defense. And that's okay because when Sam Darnold does it, he wins the Super Bowl. It's like you don't have to be a Josh Allen or a Joe Burrow type of amazing quarterback to win Super Bowls if you have an amazing defense, weapons around you, and good coaching staff and an ability to kind of manage a game. Like I think Sam Darnold is an elite, maybe one of the best in the league at managing games. It doesn't mean he's the best overall or has the most talent. I think he's really good at what he does well, which, like I said, it's different. Obviously, he plays a different game than Lamar Jackson does. So, like, I think he's a great quarterback, and he's kind of in that realm of if you put him there, I won't argue, but, like, I'll probably have him just a little bit outside. But, I mean, damn, he's a winner. He won 14 games with Minnesota, and then, I guess, 16 or 17 this year with Seattle. So, shoot, you can call him a lot of things, but I heard earlier, I'm not sure how you'd feel about this, Markel, but I heard Sam Darnold is the LeBron James of Andy Dalton's.
Whoa, that's insulting because Andy Dalton could never win a playoff game.
I don't know. I kind of liked it. I mean, LeBron is like one of the he's probably the greatest. Sam Darnold might be the greatest redhead quarterback of all time.
Oh, I mean, we're talking straight up gingers. Yeah, I think you got to pick number 1.
I think that's where the LeBron comes in of the Andy Daltons.
Oh man, yeah. It was just you can't mention Andy Dalton and Sam Darnold in the same combo. I mean,
got red hair.
As a guy that lived through it, I don't want anyone to be compared to him. I'm sorry. Sorry, Lawrence, he's still on your team, but
no, he's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Hey, I guess everyone has their favorites. A guy that is top 5 quarterback in the league, Matthew Stafford, won NFL MVP. He won it by one first place vote. And that first place vote went to Justin Herbert of all people. So he was
Josh Allen to get 2. Josh Allen to get 2 votes.
He was 1 vote away from potentially tying or losing to Drake May in the MVP race. How you guys feel about Stafford winning the NFL MVP award? I thought he had a great season, very well deserved. Jacob, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think we're all probably in agreement here that Matthew Stafford, in his amazing career, definitely deserved an MVP. Had an amazing year this year.
Yeah,
I think it's hilarious to even think about the beginning of the season when he had his like a little back problem that we didn't know a whole lot about.
Yep.
And we weren't even sure if he was going to start the season. He went into some chamber thing and it apparently fixed his back and turned him into prime 2015 or whatever year he had his best year with Calvin Johnson, um, I mean, that team is awesome. They had two great running backs, a good O-line. Obviously, Puka's a beast. Devontae had like 75 touchdowns from the 1 yard line, it seemed like. Um, couldn't happen to a better guy. Couldn't happen to a better quarterback. Sad for him that they weren't able to get the job done in terms of winning a Super Bowl this year. But I'm happy that he won the MVP, and I'm happy he's going to be back next year because the NFL is good when Matthew Stafford's in it.
Yeah, I love that he immediately confirmed he's coming back this year. I think that, gave a lot of, relief to the fans and probably the coaching staff too and his teammates that he was actually coming back. Lawrence, thoughts?
I mean, I think it's justified that he won it. Outside of Drake May, I mean, there really wasn't anyone, like, I would say close on the heels, like putting some real chase on him. Because you can't vote on whole units. Like Seattle's defense all year was probably the only thing more efficient than Matthew Stafford. So I mean, for that matter, as long as he comes back and plays really good next year, I mean, it's going to be a treat to the league because, man, everybody's going to want to try to knock him out one last time. Man, it's just, I wouldn't say it's like everyone's playing with their GOAT, but like, to some of these younger guys, like they didn't grow up watching Peyton Manning when they come into this league. They were watching Matt Stafford on the Lions going crazy. So just different ways to look at it.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think that's a fair statement to make. Next up might not be any debate for discussion about Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. Got the sack record against my Bengals, but he had one hell of a season. I don't think there's any debate about if he should have won or not.
Yeah, you get 20, 23, 24, whatever, how many sacks he had and break the record. Yeah, you can take the Defensive Player of the Year. Congratulations to him. He should have held out, not taken the bag. Wish he would have went to a playoff team. We could have seen him, but hey, he's a beast. So congratulations.
Yeah, he's a sellout.
I saw what Puka said that he's the Giannis of the NFL. Just
damn, he said that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cold.
Yeah. Nah, Puka's been on one this weekend, but hey, maybe losing in the NFC Championship game will do that to you. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Tate McMillan on your Panthers. Lawrence, how you feel about your rookie receiver winning this award?
I think partially it came down to the fact that the competition pool that he was with was a little lack thereof. But he got 1,000 yards receiving. I think that he really expands their offense. Gives you a general body threat at all times on the field, which allows your number 2s and 3s to get open just a tad bit more. Your tight ends. I think the biggest change, I would say, is that you pay attention to Bryce Young's development. Like this year, outside of I think it was like a year ago or 2 years ago, where he went crazy in this very late half of the season. This was probably Bryce Young's best performance, overall in a package. The late game-winning drives, the figuring out defenses, and I think that all comes to the fact that it feels nice to know that, oh man, there's at least fucking one all-star down there.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a number one receiver on your team, so your quarterback can always, have someone to go to. Jacob, thoughts on McMillan winning?
Yeah, he's a beast. Big Goose. Yeah, he had a great season. He reminds me of Mike Evans. He just needs to fill out a little bit more. Extremely talented. Happy for Bryce Young. And Lawrence, said it well as the resident Panthers fan. He's going to be essential to Bryce Young's growth. And, he took a big step this year and they made the playoffs. So that's definitely good for the entire organization.
Couldn't agree more. Protector of the Year. I think this is a new award. I don't know if this has been there before, but Joe Thuney from the Bears went from the Chiefs to the Bears, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Bears redid the offensive line in the offseason and worked wonders for Caleb Williams. He didn't have to run for his life every down this upcoming this past season. So shout out to them for that. Comeback Player of the Year, C-Mac. didn't play a lot last year. The tendonitis in his Achilles and some knee injury kept him out of most of the games. So it's good to see C-Mac coming back, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. But kind of getting robbed for Offensive Player of the Year, in my opinion. But at least he got something. He came away with something.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to him. I drafted him first round, 8th overall in fantasy.
Yep.
Obviously, as the listeners know, that's a huge risk, as good as C-Mac is.
Yeah.
And I got him on a good year. So if any advice to the fantasy footballers out there, don't take him next year, because I've been on that wagon too. But yeah, shout out to C-Mac, man.
Lawrence, former C-Mac. I
guess kind of. Well, I mean, I don't remember. I don't know any other players other than him that really had an amazing season on a comeback. So, I mean, who else could have been getting votes? Burrow didn't play any games.
Dak, yeah.
Burrow had a comeback from a comeback.
So good.
Yeah, he won it last year.
True. Oh shit, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
No, Dak was in there though.
But anyhow, yeah, I mean, McCaffrey, I'm glad. Next year, he like Jacob said, he's not going to be playing much. But maybe someone like Fred Warner on the 49ers can make the comeback. Who knows?
Definitely possibility. Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year. This was an easy one. Complete 180 of the Patriots. Definitely having that easy, 40-year easiest schedule ever. Definitely helped. But I think overall he's just a great coach. So you got to give him his props, man. You got to give him his props. Jacob? Yeah,
definitely. No, I will not take away from the leader of men that Vrabel is. I just think, a lot of these awards were. I mean, it was a tough class. So I'll let you guys talk about how good Vrabel is, because he is awesome. Mike McDonald, obviously, he came out of nowhere. 38-year-old head coach, wins the Super Bowl. Takes the Seattle team from 60-1 odds to a Super Bowl champion, a dominant defense. So, I mean, you can look at McVay and what he did with that team. Sean Payton with the Broncos, they were the 1 seed. Ben Johnson, first-year hire. Liam Cohen, first-year hire. The job they did with the Bears and the Jaguars were absolutely amazing. And Shanahan, too, we talked about just with all the injuries that San Fran had. It was a loaded class. Even Dave Canales with the Panthers. I mean, I can make a strong case for the Panthers head coach, because no one saw them, making the playoffs this year and hosting the home, playoff game. So loaded class. A lot of great head coaches right now. And I agree. Vrabel definitely should have won this one. So happy for everybody.
Lawrence, you disagree?
No, I don't know who. I don't really know who else could have won it other than Vrabel. I mean, since it's a regular season award, the real, I would say, like Jacob said, the really combatants are Sean Payton, because they had the most wins. But then again, you look at their how they won those games. They probably had the most comeback wins as well, like games where they weren't even in control. I would say most of the game they were comebacks. So a lot of Vrabel's wins were, we'll just start smashing, beating them up, pound them to the ground. And of a team that is making a turnaround, I think that's what really sealed the deal. Because like Ben Johnson, they were doing the same thing as the Broncos were, winning close games or making amazing comebacks.
Defense Rookie of the Year, Carson Swissinger from the Browns, rookie linebacker, 33rd pick in the draft. I don't really know too much about this guy. Obviously he played on the Browns. Overall, great defense. Jim Schwartz, who just left, he's not going to renew his contract there at the Browns, but I can't tell you much about him.
He was just a tackling machine.
I don't know if you guys had any thoughts.
Tackle guy, yeah.
I think that one comes down to the fact of there's just not a whole lot of competition in different areas. But in the Patriots, I didn't see much of the Patriots season, but they had a rookie that was doing really good. Woodson, 31 on the Patriots. I mean, that's the only defensive rookie that I apparently know, because I was watching during the Super Bowl, and he kept making plays.
Even Worry was a beast too.
Moving on to offensive player of the year.
Hold on, Markel. So I was thinking earlier about this, the awards and stuff, and then it just hit me out of nowhere. You're telling me the Cleveland Browns had the defensive player of the year in Myles Garrett, and they had the defensive rookie of the year, and it still sucked. They're still the Browns. They still sucked, missed the playoffs. I just think I wanted to point. Just wanted to point that out. Good for them. Browns, yeah, they won awards. Doesn't matter.
Same old Browns. What can you do? Offensive player of the year, JSN. I mean, he deserved it. I'm not gonna, poo-poo on him not on winning the award. I think he deserved it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of bitter. I'm just kind of bitter about a certain someone winning Triple Crown and didn't get a single first place vote last year. But maybe that's just me.
Who was that? Oh, last year. You're talking about Chase last year? Yeah. Well, they had to give it to Lamar because they felt bad. But yeah, no, JSN's a beast. I'm underrated receiver. He's going to win the offensive player of the year. He's still going to be underrated next year. Dude's always open.
Wait, how can someone be underrated but the player of the year?
JSN. I'm just saying nobody knows him. Even last night, people were the commentators had to explain how he came out of nowhere, got drafted at Ohio State. I feel like a lot of people the casuals don't know this name because he's not a big name, but he should be.
Do you guys see how he pronounced his name?
Drewski, yeah, he is being stupid. He is being stupid. Assistant coach of the year, I don't care about that. That's all the awards. Yeah, I mean, overall, good year for awards. I don't think there was any snubs or anything like that. Even if we go back to the All-Pro teams, I feel like everyone who made it made it. Me and Lawrence kind of touched about it, but sometimes the All-Pro and these awards can kind of just be a name recognition thing. Oh, who's the biggest name? Oh, I'm going to give it to them, kind of thing. But I feel like at least for the overall season awards, I feel like they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, because in no Pro Bowl in 2026 should I be seeing Joe Flacco and Shedeur Sanders.
All AFC North quarterbacks. Would you look at that? Anything else we want to cover? NBA. I think the biggest thing I'm hearing this week so far is Mark Cuban might be trying to buy the Mavs back. I don't know.
I saw that.
I don't know how much truth this is to that, but Mark Stein, who's a pretty reputable reporter, I think he was the first one to kind of break the story on that. If it's true, man, that's an interesting development. Mark Cuban just sold it, 3-4 years ago, and he's already looking to buy him back. I mean, they're doing a terrible job, but man, if you should just never let go of them.
Isn't it because the owners of the Mavs now are a feeder to the Lakers? Isn't that the whole scandal?
Well, Nico Harrison isn't there anymore, so I don't know who they're feeding to the Lakers.
I thought that was just the little run-of-the-mill. But I mean, I don't know. Why would you have sold the team when you were just going to rebuy him again? Markel, explain this to me. What is the logic? Someone make some sense of this.
My theory is that they said they wouldn't move to Vegas, but wink, wink. Today, they reported that there's gonna be a vote to expand the teams to Vegas and Seattle. Wink, wink. The owners that currently own the team, right, had been rumored from the jump to try to move to Vegas. Wink, wink. So Mark Cuban doesn't want them to leave, so I guess he has to buy them to keep them in Dallas. That's my theory.
Damn.
Even though these new owners said they wouldn't move.
They gotta get to the gambling capital of the world. Which
that's the funny thing, because they're in the casino business.
Here's my thing, right? Isn't it common knowledge that every Vegas franchise has not been successful? Every single football venture that's always been in Vegas, they always die out. They don't last very long. Aren't people always leaving Vegas? Well, back in the day, weren't people always leaving Vegas because as good as the media market that it is, the consistent traffic flow of people isn't there. Because if you think about it, people going to Vegas are going to gamble and do their own thing. They're not going to see a sporting event. And then even if they were to go see the sporting event, they're probably doing it as an event to go see their team who's in Vegas. So then they're not even rooting for your team. And then on even more top of it, like everything's going to cost an arm and a leg anyways. If I can't afford the gamble, what the fuck I'm not going to go to the game. I got to spend all my money to go to gamble to get to the game.
I don't know. The Golden Knights are doing amazing. The Raiders just got there, and the A's are going to be there in a couple of years.
Aces are doing well.
Yeah, I don't really see it. I think Vegas is maybe back in the old days when things were different. I think Vegas is a lot better right now for sports.
Yes, I mean that's my initial thoughts that Mark Cuban doesn't want them to leave. Probably just wants the NBA to just create a new team, and they have their the Aces play there, like we said. So maybe just have an owner pay a fee, make a team, and then expansion draft next year or in 2 years.
Let's expand it. Why not? Get Seattle in there, get Vegas in there. Screw it. Let's go.
You can only keep 8 players now. Who you keeping? If you're the Wiz with all these young guys, who you keeping?
All the first round picks.
Who you keeping? Should be interesting. I want to see if they stick on that 8 players you get to keep, or will they change the rules? How are they going to change up divisions, conferences? Like, it's going to be a whole fiasco. I wonder how they go about it.
Seattle are both in the West, too, so it would be weird. See some teams changing from the East to the West, or from the West to the East.
Got to move. Obviously, the Grizzlies, I feel like, are the easiest choice to move to the East, but after that...
too, maybe? New Orleans?
Maybe New Orleans. Maybe Minnesota, because Minnesota's, like, closer to Chicago than West Coast, right? So...
Interesting. Yeah, you're right. That could be a whole, like, realignment type of deal.
Yep. Well, that's like I said, the one thing on my radar. I don't know if you guys have anything else. Mason won their homecoming game, right? On Saturday.
Yeah.
Barely won at that.
Barely is a little much. I mean, it wasn't a great game, but like second half, about 10 minutes left, the worry went away.
Fair enough. Big buzzer beater by UNC over Duke. I know that was probably one of the big moments of the weekend as well.
Didn't lead the whole game.
Yeah, that's nuts.
But that's some things I'm tracking. If you guys got anything else, or are we gonna head on out and
UVA basketball is doing good. They got a big win on Saturday as well, so UVA is climbing up there slowly.
Now at the 15th spot.
To expand on the emphasis that Mason has to really produce, I think 2 wins at the end of the season. VCU is projected a 38% chance to make the tournament, and Mason is only at like a 10 or like a 10, like a 9. The disparity between the two of them is just. I don't know where I was like, I don't know, as fans, but we're so like wrong-sided brain, but like to this moment that VCU is any leg above us is just insane to me.
If we look at the standings, VCU is right there behind us in the conference play, 9-2. The overall record, of course, they're 18-6. But to me, I don't see how that equals higher percentage to make the tournament. Maybe that's just another name recognition at play here.
Probably. We play them again, so if we beat them twice, then we should close that door. But if they get us a second time in Richmond, then it'll be tough.
I personally think if they lose to either St. Louis or VCU, it's chalk. It's over. I think the only way that this league gets 2 bids or more is obviously whoever wins their tournament, or St. Louis wins out. Like, regular season, I think St. Louis is pretty much locked, even if they don't win the A10 tournament. But like, if you lose to VCU and then you just go the next week and you beat St. Louis, I don't know if that really does much because it would just put you right back to where you were. And then now you just have an extra loss against VCU. I feel like you still got to win the A10 tournament at that point.
So basically, we just gotta win the A10 tournament regardless, because I think they're gonna lose one of those two games. Whatever game they put their more into, they're
I
gonna lose.
believe that if they were to somehow be able to beat both of them, I don't think they would need to win the A10 tournament. And I do believe if they somehow beat both of them, I think they would. I think they would let St. Louis and George Mason into the tournament, regardless of who won the A10. Because there's just no way that you can have a ranked team the whole season and just say, "Oh, yeah, no," all because they lost to the second best team in their conference. Yeah, I don't know. I really, really doubt that one. But the amount of love that the Big Ten is getting this year is pretty much the same amount of love that the SEC was getting last year, and we saw the SEC get like 12 out of 14 teams. So.
Then this man goes again. No, but I will say, like, but what you're saying, Lawrence, if St. Louis and Mason, so say Mason beats St. Louis, say they're ranked like 16, they beat them, and then they go into the tournament, and in the finals, it's St. Louis versus Mason. St. Louis beats Mason. I think Mason would get in because they have a win over a ranked team. They came second place in a highly competitive, conference. I think there's a route for that, but also I can see a route where if they split those two games and then they like lose in like the quarterfinals or something, that they could easily get left out. So honestly, if they can lose both games, you got to win the tournament because even Lawrence in those scenarios, we don't know because it's George Mason. Like they can so easily get passed over by some big school or some middle major that no one knows about school just because their name sounds cooler or they've been there more recently. So I think really it has to come down to the tournament. Win as many games as you can. Try to, push the entire way and get out through the tournament. But if they do keep winning and they do play St. Louis late in the season and St. Louis is ranked very high, if Mason were to win, that would definitely help towards the just getting a bid in general, even if they don't win the tournament. But it's a tough outlook for Mason here. So for me, honestly, I'm kind of all shifted back to UVA until the A10 tournament sticks around. But yeah, who knows? It'll be tough because I think VCU's they're on a 7-game win streak. St. Louis has won 17 in a row, which is gnarly.
Yeah.
So those are tough games for a Mason team that's not playing their best ball right now.
Yeah, hopefully they get their act together. Starting the first half has been a big problem for them. Finishing strong second half, but yeah, these starts got to get better for sure. That's all I got. So I think we're gonna head on out. We'll see you guys later this week. Thank you guys for watching Sideline Brief Podcast, episode 216. Like I said, we'll see you later this week.
Peace out.
Peace.